Welcome to 100 Hours, 100 Stars, and the star this hour is none other than the legendary musician, Mr. Anu Malik. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Welcome to 100 Stars, 100 Hours.
Hey, thank you for having me over. Thank you so much.
You know, this is a non-stop tribute to the COVID warriors. In fact, this could be certified in the record books for the largest or the biggest non-stop tribute to COVID warriors or the largest digital carnival ever. So
Wow.
again, I am honored to have you on the show. And for those who are watching, I would sincerely request you to kindly donate to the PM Cares Fund to deal with the current COVID pandemic or for future emergencies. You can either use the QR code that's flashing below the screen or use the link or just donate the way I did, which is through Paytm. Mr. Anu Malik, a lot of your songs
Yes.
make sense in the lockdown as well. Unchi hai building.
Oh, it does
Mera
actually.
hai.
Lift this close, absolutely. Yes.
Ye
But
khali
before I go
khali
ahead,
lockdown. Haan.
oh my God, you remember all the songs.
Of course, how can we not? Grew up singing the songs.
But Prithvi, I have to first take this opportunity to thank you for having me over. But more than that, I really have to tell everybody out there, please. I keep on reading these reports of people harming doctors. Don't do that. They are the guys who are saving our lives. They risk their lives to save our lives. Congratulations and a lot of pranams and respects to, salutations to doctors, nurses, support staff, even the guys at the kirana shops who really supply you your day-to-day needs, from rice to wheat to whatnot, and the police personnel out there who are risking their lives to save our lives. I salute all of you guys.
Super, Mr. Anu. Thank you very, very much.
And before you go ahead, please donate to the PM Cares Fund. It's amazing that whatever you can donate, it's important that, the thought is very important. You do it, it helps save a life.
Thank you. Now, next few minutes, Mr. Anu Malik, I would like to know the other side of Anu Malik, the musician. We know that side, the other side. I would like to begin by asking you, what are some of the things that you found in your house that you never expected during this lockdown, since you're all locked down?
Well, it's amazing because when you're in your house, you tend to explore. Normally, you take your house as, you are in your bedroom, or you sit in your lounge or your hall, and you get up you come back from work, you chill a bit, go to your bedroom, relax, and then you go back to work again. But it's this time when every nook and corner has come forward to talk to you. For example, right now I'm sitting in my lounge where I made this recent song, which has gone really viral, Happy Randika. We'll talk about it later on.
Yes, I am going to talk about it.
So, sitting here, I found that I hadn't opened the drawers to find out what books I bought years back to read. So I started reading those books. Can you beat that? I have started understand. Those books. Sometimes you go on a shopping trip, or you're out of the country, and you buy a certain book you like.
Yes.
And then I was on Kindle, and then suddenly those real paperback editions were not touched by me. I've started reading them, and guess what? I'm actually reading a paperback edition of the history of India.
Wow.
And I tell you, Prithvi, it's amazing what a great country we live in. What a great country. I mean, you don't need a book to find that out, but the fact is that I consider myself blessed to be born here, like you and like so many others. Right from my young age, I've been making songs praising our great beloved India, Bharat, East or West, India is the best, और संदेश से आते हैं और सीमाएं बुलाएं तुझे चल रही और मेरा मुल्क मेरा देश मेरा ये वतन और तो चलूं और कसम लिए हमने कसम न तोड़ेंगे. And now while reading this book, reading about the different states of India and the people of India, oh my God, the festivals of India, the temples of India, it's amazing. What a country.
Yes, and compared to other countries, we are doing so much better in handling the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, what's the first thing Anu Malik would like to do after the end of this lockdown?
Oh, please now, don't. I mean, there are so many things I would love to do.
First
but
thing.
I know, honestly, The first thing is because I'm working on a certain film at this point of time. The first thing I really want to do, and I'm dying, yearning to get back into my studio with my musicians and start jamming with them. I miss them. I mean, we do jam. I mean, I did the song online. You know, actually, I understood the wonders of technology when I had to make a song. Because when I was looking at the people out there, it's all locked up in the houses like me. We all are. So I said, if I'm feeling so depressed, and sometimes depression does strike. Sometimes you really feel a little, you know, it gets to you every morning. If you get up doing the same routine again and again and again, it gets to you. So I said, if I'm feeling that, all these guys must be feeling that. So let's make them happy and let's motivate them. So I made this song. But I said, how would I make a song? I mean, I don't have a piano right here. I'm a harmonium, luckily. And I had to create this. So I just started creating in my head a thought that came into me. I rang up my lyricist, and I'll tell you the whole story later on.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to come to that. Okay, you just brought about good days and bad days, right? We all have a good days and bad days. I would like to know, how do you particularly, Mr. Anu Malik, handle the bad days? When you say you're feeling a little low, a little depressed, how do you deal with it? What do you do?
You know, you asked a beautiful question. We all have a bad days. We all get depressed. And we all tend to get, you know, we can even be a little in a snappy mood, or when you want to snap at others, you know. But the only way out of this, and I think being a musician, it's a blessing. We get lost in our own worlds. You ask any musician this. The moment I feel I'm in a bad mood, or I'm about to suddenly get a little upset for no rhyme or reason, I start humming a tune, I start creating something. And I also go and tell my wife, okay, what's cooking? You know, so she says, come, you know, I'll take a peek into the kitchen. I'll try to enliven the proceedings by cracking a joke, or trying to laugh, because I sometimes laugh at myself also. I'll create a joke and I say, okay, this guy spoke about me like that. Somebody tried to sing my, you know, some people imitate the way I sing. So I start laughing. You know, it's good to laugh at yourself also at times.
That's a difficult quality, Mr. Anu Malik, what you've just said. It's not very easy for people to laugh at themselves. It is something you need to be trained. It needs a certain amount of effort. People are not comfortable doing that.
No, Prithvi, I think, you know what, you know, if the joke's on me, the joke's on me. You know, the more you laugh, the better it is. The more you laugh, no one is going to be personal. No one hates you.
I fully agree with you. Yes.
You know, you got to, you know, I don't know how you choose your life, but I choose this. If people laughing at me, I'm not going to take it personally. I say, okay, he's laughing. If it makes him or her happy by even laughing at me, or even being a little mean, no problems. Because at the end of the day, if you're happy doing what you're doing. And if you keep on smiling, that very thing becomes a fun moment, you know.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't become a poisonous moment. And I like to spread love. I like to spread love, talk. People have also laughed at me and said, oh, look at this guy. I said, yeah, but I like to make people laugh and happy, because I believe if you can, the best thing you can do in life is to make someone forget his problems, her problems, through your music, through your words, through like, if someone laughs at you, you laugh
being
back.
the person you are.
Yeah, and people love it. And that's the way you should live your life, because this is the way I've learned to live my life, and I don't get upset. I don't even hate it. You won't believe this, but I don't have a small mean bone in my body of hating anybody. I've never hated anybody. I wonder, there's a line which I believe that when you don't have time to love, how can you have time to hate?
Super, well said. I fully identify with you.
And this is not
lived like that too myself.
Yeah, Prithvi, let people be happy. Keep on smiling, and I know it's very difficult. Sometimes it gets to you, but you have to keep on smiling and understand that there are people out there with major problems. There are people out there who you can't hear and who can't talk to you. The only way they can be happy is when you know, there was this lady who met me many years back when I'd come out with that film, Bazigar, you know, and which you were mentioning, Kali Kali Aankhein. And she said, you know, Mr. Malik, you don't know me. I said, no, ma'am. I love your music of Bazigar. I said, thank you. But there's something else I'm going to say. I said, what? You know, when I heard your music, before that, I was in a very bad state and I wanted to commit suicide. But your music made me live. Now, I think that's the best award or compliment you can ever get.
Totally.
Absolutely. So I learned that there are people out there with so much problems. It's not that you are the only one with problems. Keep on laughing, keep on smiling, and wish good for everybody in the world. It will come back to you.
You have stolen my line. This is my everyday prayer, Mr. Anu Malik. And also, you spoke about laughing at yourself. For the longest time of my life, my true companion has been sense of humor. I've read this somewhere that if you just have a little sense of humor, it will actually break the real problem to its desired proportions.
Very well said. It does.
Yeah, fantastic. That's been my companion as well. Okay, now I want to ask you this. During the lockdown, there were so many trends. By any chance, did you try something called the Dalgona coffee or banana bread? Did you succumb to any of the trends? No.
No, I did. But thanks to, here Anmol comes in, my eldest daughter. She made us this Dalgona coffee, and I was,
she did.
I was wondering about the taste, but then she really made me, and I loved it. I love the banana bread. In fact, there are things that she has done. She's made bread at home for me. Can you beat that? My wife is the one who's a fabulous cook, but Anmol made bread for me. And I said, wow, she baked a bread, then she baked a cake. She made me this Dalgona coffee. Wow. So a lot of things she has done. But I'm the one who's been doing, I've been making hot cups of chai for them because they keep on saying it. Like Anmol comes to me and says, hey, garam chai ki pyale ho.
Yeah.
And the way she does this, I said, Anmol, what are you doing? She's copying me, and then I laugh at myself. I mean, she's giving me a hint, okay, Dad, now it's time for you to make tea. And Ada will, then my younger one will come in and say, okay, she'll chip in with, and she's a fashion designer, but she keeps on singing. She's also in key, but very soft. So I said, okay, these girls are saying, get us a morning cup of tea, and I'll do that.
In fact, your video, right, which I'll come to in a little later. Happy Reneka, please don't worry. That your song starts with you whistling and making a cup of chai in the kitchen. We'll come to that. Okay, now I want you to answer this. 3 things that you have realized working from home, or you're learning in this.
I think.
For example, I have learned since I'm managing my entire house, if I wash the plate the moment I finish using it, it doesn't pile up in the kitchen.
I learned something very amazing. Which I'm going to share with you guys. Okay. I've learned one thing, Prithvi. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
I've learned one thing that, the most important thing in life when you get up is to make your own bed.
Oh, good one.
You know what? It gives you a purpose in life. Yes. I never used to do that. But you may be anything. You may be the army, you may be the navy, you may be a corporate honcho, you may be a CEO. But when you get up in the morning, or you may be a musician like me.
I do that too.
When I get up now, learn that. Normally it was, the maid will come in, she'll make the bed. And I've taken life for granted. This lockdown has really woken us, all of us up, I know it's a very, very painful lockdown because it's a disease out there that needs to go away. It's a sickness that needs to go away. But so when I get up in the morning, I look forward to making my own bed. It's tough with those blankets and all. The first day was tough. And today, I don't even remember going, unless I have made the bed, only then I can have my tea. You know what I'm saying? So so the one thing I've learned is to make my bed, which is amazing. And my wife is wondering, you made it so well. I said, thank you. And then I'll pick up the broom and I'll clean the floor. The rugs are pretty heavy. So I clean the rugs. I clean the rugs. And there'll be time. And now I have started watering the plants, which is also amazing. I wait to water the plants. And they call out to me, the plants. The plants call out to me. It's, hey, we're thirsty. Come here. So I go there. I plant. I water the plants. I clean the floors. I love it. I just love doing that. And I feel my wife has done that for so long. It's my time to do that.
Fantastic. As you rightly said, waking up in the morning and doing your bed is that's what, your discipline starts from that.
Right. It gives you a purpose in life. Folding my clothes. I start folding my clothes. I keep it in my cupboard. wardrobe, and then now every hour I'm doing something or the other. I mean, I can be alone with myself, and I'm pretty cool, very very comfortable.
Fantastic. Okay. If you had to do a musical collaboration from home, who would be the artists that you would call home?
I mean, there would be international artists. I must say that I don't know why, but I just love Adele's voice.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
and I would love to make a song which she would sing. She's got such a soulful voice.
Yes.
And luckily, I have a singer at home, Anmol. So we have been collaborating. In fact, I make tunes that say, now do this, now do that. So that's amazing. And there are such brilliant artists today in India with such great singers. All of them, you asking you're telling me who I want to collaborate with everyone and start my music just right now.
Super.
And how my tunes to them and say, okay, yeah, this is the tune, sing it and give it back to me with the words.
Super. Okay, I want to ask you this. What was your ambition before you actually started your journey as a musician or music director? And the two parts question. And what is your ambition now?
Okay, ambition before was, everyone knows about it. I've always said that I wanted to be into the police force. I love the police. I had two friends who later on did come into the police force. I have finished my MA with my wife, Anju. I did Master of Arts from Mumbai University, Kalina. And then I did apply till music. I got a film. But to cut the whole story short, I loved, I still respect the police force. And I would have loved to be in the police force. Okay. Other than that, what I would want to do now is nothing more than music. I'll tell you something honestly. It's music that has made me what I am. In fact, you may laugh at this. You may laugh at this, or you may wonder what's Anu Malik talking. But I feel I've just become a composer. When Momo Ki Dhage was recorded 3 years back, and it got 3 national awards, my wife was the first one when I got the song home, and I said, this is the song I made for Aditya Chopra's film, Sharad Katarias. What do you think of it? She said, looks like a new composer is born. Oh, that was a huge compliment,
Of course. Yes.
So I think I want to just be doing more and a lot of music. A lot of music is coming into me again. And I just want to give that to the world and make them happy.
Okay. Interesting that you brought that. What do you think has changed in the music now to the music then? Let's say 5-10 years ago. Because you have seen all transitions.
Yeah, in a way, yes. Because as a kid, I grew up hearing Shankar Jayesh and R.D. Burman. Well, when I came into the late 80s, all these greats were working. Lakshmikant Pyarelal, R.D. Burman, all the greats. And then when I entered the 90 phase, we all of us composers worked very hard to give you the 90s era, which is called the great musical era.
Correct. How do you keep it relevant?
But what I believe in is I embrace technology. I embrace something new. For example, I feel that composers today, any composer, is doing a brilliant job. Now, this is my personal opinion, okay? I feel every young composer is fantastic. Every young singer that has come in is fantastic. And I learn from them. I'm not the one who lives on the, Prithvi, by saying that hamara zamana tha, humne ye kiya, humne wo kiya. So I went on an app to find out my real age. My daughter was telling me, Dad, there's a game. Let's find out your real age. Guess what they found out? It's through 31.
It's a heart.
I'm not more than 31 even now. So I think like that. I want to learn. So I learn from youngsters. I learn, and I want one more thing. When I make a song, I want the youngsters to embrace my music and say, hey, this guy's still working. And hey, this guy's tune is good. When Momo Ki Dhage came out, so many young composers, so many leading composers of today, rang me up and said, you know what, we can't believe this has come out from you. Please give us this music. For me, that's huge for all the composers who are actually doing brilliant work now. They ring me up and they tell me that.
Super. Okay, I want to ask you this before I come to your quarantine song. Last but one question. Anuji, when you get up in the morning, what is that one thing that actually keeps you going? What do you look forward to on a daily basis?
Um, well, that's a hard one to crack because I believe that I do pray a lot, and I do feel that I look forward to peace in the world,
Fair.
and that keeps me going. I keep on
I
praying to the
fully
Lord.
understand that.
I really pray for peace. I pray for happiness for every fellow human being. And I always say, God, keep me the way you are. Not any malice, not any jealousy, not any anger should ever cloud my vision. And I look forward to making a lot of music in the morning. I started composing right. I mean, my best time is to compose between 2:30 and 5. And I keep on composing at that time. No, in the morning, afternoon.
Oh, okay. Afternoon.
I like the sun. I like a lot of light in the house. And between 2:30 and 5 is my most favorite time. I prefer that. And as the evening comes, I tend to then chill out more with the family. But I always love to get up every morning and say, I must come out with that one great number that will really take away the suffering of the person once he or she hears that song. I mean, that's my thought. I've always had the people in mind. I've always had my country in mind. I've always had India in mind. I don't know. It's strange. I consider India my family.
Fantastic. Do you exercise, Anu Malik?
Yeah, I do. It's been a bit tough now because, in this lockdown, we can't go to your gym. And
Especially
so I'm doing
Maharashtra.
a lot of, so I'm doing a lot of hand exercises and, trying to eat less, but that's a bit difficult because I must confess I love food.
Okay.
And
Because
my
one
wife
of the
keeps on experimenting, and I said, now give me this and give me that. But today, I've come down to, very simple food. Nowadays, I'm more onto simple dal chawal. And somehow, because of the pain outside in the world, I'll be honest with you, I don't feel so hungry. You know what I'm saying? When you keep on seeing the news and you find out there's mayhem outside, you do get scared, and you also start praying for everybody. So, that kind of happiness to create for food or hunger for food is a bit difficult, to be very honest with you. So I first pray for every soul on Mother Earth to be happy.
Now, I want to end this on a very happy note. Your happy song is super. I saw the video actually this today. Happy, please don't worry. Now, when did this happen? How long did it take for you to come out with this tune and to record and to record? How many people were involved in this?
It was very difficult. I'll tell you why. Because first the thought hit me that I must make a song for the masses. But I'm feeling very depressed. I want to make myself happy and make everyone happy. So I got this line in my head: "Tu kyun dara dara hai, tu kyun dari dari, happy rehne ka, please don't worry." After I had this thought, I said, "Wow, sounds good." So I had the hook line in my head. I rang up Kumar, my lyricist, and I said, "Kumar, I've got this line." He said, "Don't change this. Don't change this. I'm going to give you a Mukhra Antara right now." In about 20 minutes, he WhatsApped me the Mukhra Antara.
Awesome.
I read that. I read that and I said, wow. So I went on reading the lyrics and the tune started flowing. And the tune just came into my head. I said, how do I record it? So I spoke to my sound designer. I said, Dharma, look, I've got this thing in my head. I spoke to him on the phone. He said, just WhatsApp the tune to me. I WhatsApped the tune to him. I said, give me a sound which I would appreciate. Should be a little groovy. So he sent me a sample of the sound. I loved it. And then we started interacting on the email. And then there was no mic to record. So I said, look, I am going to just record this on my WhatsApp properly, on a voice note.
This is on a mobile phone?
Yeah. It's a fact. And I said, I'm going to do it. He said, okay, let's work on it. So I recorded this on a voice note and I sent it to him. There was this app to download for the voice, but somehow it was not sounding good. It was sounding a very different voice. I said, no. I said, I'm going to just sing it the way it is. So without the harmonium, I just put this phone and I started singing, And I sent the voice and then we started going to and fro and he made the entire production around that voice. And then he said, give me a hook tune. So I whistled that particular portion. I whistled, he loved the whistle part and the Mukhra and the Antara. And we got the song. When I got the entire production, I rang up Venus Company. I said, look, I've got this song. He said, can you do a video? I said, how can I do a video? Now here comes in my two daughters. What they had done was
Okay, daughters.
when I'd been making my beds and giving the chai, they had been shooting me. You know,
Oh,
so
okay.
they assembled all the shots and added a few more shots,
Awesome.
and they, I, Anmol, Ada, we all sat down and they edited the entire thing. So they directed the entire video. So it's a very Anu Malik, Anmol Malik, Ada Malik kind of a combo, where I made the tune. I wrote, Kumar wrote the words. I did the antara. I sang the song. Dharma did the production. Anmol Ada shot the entire song. Then they edited it, and finally we sent it to Venus, and the song came out. And people can't believe it that it was done without moving out of the main door. You know. So I've learned technology is very powerful if used properly.
It is touching 100,000 views. I just saw this today. Can we please end it on that note? I want you to. I tell you what. You sing two lines for me. After that, see, I'm not a musician, but I have ear for music. I am learning a little bit of ukulele through YouTube. After you sing your song, I will give my touch to it. After you sing this,
go for it, Prithvi. So I'm going to sing it. 1, 2, 3. रब देख तेरा बंदा परेशान है, दिल डिप्रेस है, आफत में जान है, प्लान किसी का ना विधि का विधान है, ना इलाज ना कोई समाधान है, प्रभु कुछ करेंगे, हम ऐसे न मरेंगे, ओ प्रभु कुछ करेंगे, हम ऐसे न मरेंगे, तू क्यों डरा डरा है, तू क्यों डरी डरी, हैप्पी हैप्पी रहने का प्लीज डोंट वरी, तू क्यों डरा डरा है, तू क्यों डरी डरी, हैप्पी हैप्पी रहने का प्लीज डोंट वरी, हैप्पी हैप्पी रहने का प्लीज डोंट वरी, हैप्पी हैप्पी रहने का प्लीज डोंट वरी.
Super. Now, Anumaliji, you have to excuse me, okay? I'm doing this with so much of love because I really like your tune. It's very, very happy and it's very catchy. I only heard it twice and it's already in my ears. I don't know how to play this through YouTube.
Go for it.
I want to give my version of your song.
Go for it with me. I'm all ears.
Happy, happy रहने का please don't worry. Happy, happy रहने का please don't worry.
Excellent.
Mr. Anu Malik, thank you so much for your time. You know what? This was a very heart-to-heart conversation I've had with guests after a very, very long time. I could identify with every bit of what you said.
Thank you.
I identify with everything that you say because to a large extent, I think I also live my life the way you do in the same lens. So thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed it.
Prithvi, that's the only way to live. And before we sign off, please, guys, respect all the doctors. Believe in what Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji says when he says social distancing is very, very important. Stay at home and not only save your life, but save the life of others. And just stay happy. Tu kyun dara dara hai, tu kyun dari dari. Happy, happy रहने का. Please don't worry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anu Malik, for joining on 100 Hours, 100 Star. Thank you for being a star this hour. And to the rest of you, quick note on the bottom of the screen, you can donate to the PM Cares Fund. Either use the QR code or use the link or donate the way I did through Paytm. Mr. Anu Malik, pleasure speaking with you. My love to you.
Thank you. Thank you. My love to you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, this is me, Jayan, and I'm from 94.3 Radio 1 Bangalore. As part of the entire network, Fever, Nasha, and Radio 1 gives me immense pleasure to invite this absolutely amazing comic, Anshu Moore, onto this 100 Hours, 100 Stars. How are you feeling about this, Anshu?
Oh, this is so fantastic. I love it that you guys have called me over. Super excited about this.
All right. I always wanted to speak to a comic like you who has quit your corporate job, mainly because I have a very similar story. I used to work with Hewlett Packard. Yeah. I began my career with them. after an MBA. And then,
Wow.
of course, for me, I quit in a year, like a year and a half, and I joined the radio station. But I do miss the corporate life in terms of all the daily perks and the monthly perks in terms of that salary that reaches the account. But in terms of the what I do, I love it. Tell us a little bit about your story because you're a Microsoft blue-eyed boy, aren't you?
Yeah, I actually spent about 18 years in my corporate life, 11 of which
Wow.
were at Microsoft. And I used to head the Xbox business, which is the gaming and entertainment business. Real fun job, I can tell you that. And but in 2016, true story. Okay, I saw this movie called Tamasha. Not that I really, really liked the movie. It was a okayish movie. But that night, I had this like 2 minute conversation with my wife about following passion, and she was like, "If you want to do something, just go ahead and do it," and stuff like that. And no further discussion. Monday morning, I got up and went to office and resigned.
Oh,
Um,
wow. When you
yeah,
told your wife about this, I know I've watched a lot of your comedy.
yeah.
Did she see your left side or your right side before she said, "Okay, quit"? Because I know you believe you have one better profile. Which profile is better according to you?
I think the left one is way better than the right one. There is something out there. I don't know what happened, but I think this one is way better.
All right, so
Yeah,
you
I,
went
I
to
don't.
her. You
Yeah, I
went to her
went to
like
her
this.
like this. Yeah, I was like this. Should I follow my passion? And she's like, yeah, please go do it. But yeah, that's what
Right.
happened. Yeah, so I just quit. I didn't know. I knew that I wanted to become a stand-up comedian, but I had not watched any stand-up comedy till then. No live shows. I didn't know any comedian in the country except probably one or two names, and I didn't even know how much money they make actually. And thank God I didn't know all those things. At least back then, which was like 4 years ago, and I
Right.
quit. And yeah, that's how the journey started. Now it's been
But
4 years.
you watched that movie, Tamasha, but somewhere, when I was watching your story, you were telling us about how you walked into, I think, a Starbucks place, like to get your coffee, and you realize now this is almost a story of an entrepreneur, right? Because
It
nobody
was.
is paying in the salary on that first or 31st or whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Was that difficult for you?
No, actually, not that. It was just surprising. It was more amusing than anything else. The first day that I walked into Starbucks, somebody had told me that if you want to become an artist, you have to sit in a coffee shop. Okay, so I went there with my laptop and stuff like that. And then I went to order the coffee. And I had never, ever till then, I don't think I'd ever bothered about the price. Not that I was really bothered, but I never even thought about it. But obviously, after leaving Microsoft, in my head, I was like, I have to have a startup mindset and, I'm starting from scratch now. This is not like changing a job. This is like absolutely becoming a nobody and then trying to become somebody, right? So I had this whole startup thing, I think I had overthought that. But when I walked up to that lady, I was like, one cappuccino, and she was like $175. I was like, what? You 175?
Coffee, comedy, conversations. That's what I'm looking forward to. But,
Yeah,
in a culture and society which is predominantly right now millennial, and now you also have like a subset to that, you have the Gen Zs.
yeah.
But you being so relevant because I've watched your shows and I like the fact that they're so, relatable, extremely real, and you speak in Hindi and English, and so the alternation is very, very like, it's very inspiring. How
Yeah.
do you exactly do what you do? How do you write your set? How do you come up with something like the year that you're born? Since we're talking about age,
Yeah, the
I can tell you,
1972. Yeah.
you're 72, I'm 84, so we're not too far away.
I'm
Not
gonna
too far.
shut this off right now.
No, 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 not too far away because the intern and my
Hey,
producer who works at my office is 2000. It's
oh
the
my God.
born.
Oh my
So,
God. I don't
so
even
we
I don't even acknowledge people who are born like in 2000s and all. They don't exist for me. Yeah.
right. How do you connect with the audience of any generation? How do you bridge that gap?
It has been a huge learning curve for me. So, quite honestly, when I started off, I was very clear that most of the material that I'm writing about is about my wife or marriage and son and stuff like that. And in head, in the first 1.5 years, the audience profile was very clear. I was like, I'm catering to 30 to 40-year-olds, married, urban, probably both husband, wife working. That's the audience that will understand my jokes. And that carried on for about 1.5 years. And then as the writing improved, and I guess it happens with every comedian, as the writing improved and some experience on stage, I realized that age really doesn't matter. If you can write good comedy, everybody will relate to you. Like if a 18-year-old, the joke that I was telling you, the 18-year-old watches me, he sees a dad doing all of this, and that's very amusing for him, right? If a 40 plus year old is watching me, for them, it's like my kind of guy doing this, right? If a 60-year-old is watching, they're probably thinking, yeah, that's my son, or whatever, right? Somewhere in that
Right.
age. So if you can give perspective in your comedy, people like to listen to perspective, even if it's coming from a person of a very different age bracket, but their perspective on something is becomes interesting. And I think that's hopefully that is getting better now in terms of
Absolutely.
writing.
I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot. Okay. So you have 90 seconds to do a set, and I hope the connection stays so that I can react. I've never watched you perform live, and this is my first, experience. Let's see how this works, Anshu. Go for it.
Okay, 90 seconds. Okay, so this is something that I'm just writing right now. Okay, so it's not completely built up.
You
But
can
this is
test
yeah,
it
but
on me,
yeah, I'm
and
gonna
it
test
will be
it.
big for today.
I'm gonna test it out on you. This is about me getting a haircut at home, and I think 2 weeks into the lockdown, I decided that I need to get a haircut. And my wife walked over, and I told her, I said, "Would you cut my hair?" And she was like, "No, it's gonna be risky. You might go bald from one side. I don't know." And I found myself telling her that cut kar de, वैसे भी कौन देख रहा है. And then I realized I just said it to my wife, okay, that I really don't care about how I look in front of her. So anyway, she started cutting the hair, and normally I go to this guy I've been going to for 10 years now to get my hair cut. Okay, so while my wife was cutting my hair, I kept telling her, I said, he does it like this, you do it like that. He does it like this, you do it like that. And I think there was
Sounds so
my
wrong, Anshu, first of
I
all.
know at so many levels, okay,
Yeah.
because I think my wife thought that it was a very romantic moment going on between us. And in that romantic moment, I was thinking about somebody else. So I truly realized that, how cheating feels like.
Yeah, thank God your barber is not a woman. Like if that would have been even worse. She
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it like that. You're doing it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
And
Uh,
it was bad, yeah.
but can
And
you get a haircut? I mean, you mean it's like a summer buzz. It's just a little
I
bit
don't know
of
what it is, yeah. I don't know. It's almost like marriage because the day it happened, no, I I I thought she had done a great job. And it's only after a week I started realizing, यहाँ से कम कटा है, इधर से ज़्यादा कटा है. Then after another week, I was like, no, there's so many faults. So I felt it was exactly like a marriage thing, how it goes, right? Initially, it's all good, and then you start realizing, married the wrong person. But,
How many years have you been married? And is your wife right outside this room? She
yeah, I
might
think
just
she can
come
hear
in.
me. Yeah. I
She,
think she
she,
can hear me.
she will tonsure you completely. She'll be like,
22
what
years.
is
Yeah.
22?
20.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
What what is the secret, man? Like 22 years, I can't even imagine it.
I think the secret is two separate rooms.
I've heard this from a lot of couples, right? That, if you want to keep the marriage and the relationship alive,
Yeah.
it's okay if you, once in a while come together for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and in the same bed for once in a while. But otherwise, have separate rooms, do your own thing.
Live your own life, I'm telling you. And I thought I knew my wife after 22 years. Like we were dating for about 2 years before marriage. So it's been 24 years now,
24
technically.
years. Wow.
Yeah. It's only now when I've seen her working at home, and she's on conference calls and she's talking to colleagues and partners and stuff like that. I'm like, who is this woman? Like, I didn't know she could do all those things like negotiate and play politics and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, I don't know you at all.
Anshu, if she can cut your hair, then she can totally do anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. More power
And
to
you
her.
know what, Jen? You know what? When I offered the same to her now, after cutting the hair, I told her, I said, let me do this for you. I can trim or do an upper
Never,
lip if you want.
never,
It
never.
was a flat no, okay? It was like not even in the consideration. She was like, no, 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 it doesn't matter now.
You're married for 22 years. You should know by now that women will never allow anybody to touch them anywhere unless and until they know what they're doing, especially when it comes to the beauty business. So
I know, I just figured.
how does she manage? What is she doing about her hair? I think we can
Oh,
just grow it.
yeah, yeah, she's just growing it and whatever.
Right. In terms of, just shifting it to something a little bit more, serious, what we are doing, as a network, the reason we're doing this is not just to celebrate the COVID warriors who are out there on the front lines, but
Hmm.
also, to raise money for the PM Cares Fund. And this is something that the Prime Minister has urged the entire country to talk about. And of course, we are doing the same with all the stars who are on 100 hours, 100 stars. What's your shout out to everybody, man? I know that you're somebody who's like a funny man, but a funny man when he appeals in the funniest way possible might just strike a bigger chord with people who are watching this.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to this, I'd rather be serious than funny, honestly. Uh,
Right.
because, some of us are really living a privileged life even during this lockdown, sitting at home, we're getting our food, we are in comfortable environment. Is the warriors, it's also, people who don't have as much luxury as we do. Especially I'm in Gurgaon, like our houses are bigger, as you know, as opposed to Mumbai. There's a lot of space out here. So everybody, I think right now should pitch in, right, in some way or the other. I know everybody's worried about their own jobs and what will happen in the future and stuff like that. I don't think that's the time. Worry about it later when the lockdown ends. Right now, I think we should all support and donate money. And then after you've donated money, then come watch my shows online so that I can make money.
That's very interesting. I like the fact that you've made the plug for both, and that's exactly what the PM Cares Fund is. Whatever you can, whether it's 10 rupees or 1,000 rupees,
Yes.
what you can afford to give, because like you said, we're living privileged lives. It's great. Kind of also applies to you as a comic. You want to shout out to all the artists out there. Just a couple of days ago, I was speaking to Ricky Cage, who's a Grammy Award winner from
Yeah.
Bangalore on World Earth Day. They did an online concert,
Yeah.
which raised money for the World Health Organization. And he was telling me just one thing, and I think as an artist, you might agree, you might want to give a couple of tips to artists out there. Start figuring out how you can do your work online as an artist, how you can start monetizing it, and maybe driving yourself into that economy. Now, you
Yeah.
have a great tech experience. You come from Microsoft. I think that even for this call, you helped me so much in kind of setting it up so much better. So you want to talk to artists and tell them how this space can be used to probably generate an entirely new source of income, because life post COVID-19, they say, is going to be more like this
Yeah.
than 1972,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, correct. No, so to all the artists, I think first of all, open your mind up. I know it's very, very frustrating because you don't get the feel of live audiences and stuff like that, and that is what we used to live for. But it is a new normal. First thing, accept it and take your time accepting it. Don't jump onto it, even if it takes a week, 10 weeks, or whatever. Right? Just take your time accepting the fact that the world will be largely online. Second, remember one thing: when you're giving an online experience, you are at home and delivering an experience, but that doesn't mean that experience should be semi-professional or amateur, right? You got to give the audience, especially the paying audience, a proper experience. So like, for example, if I do a stand-up comedy show, I dress up nicely, I make sure there's good lighting, I have a mic in place, to at least give as best an experience as I possibly can, right? um, Also, I think one of the bigger things that I am now realizing, it frankly, first 2 weeks of doing this stuff online was all about learning. But right now, also realize that they're younger artists, not in terms of age alone. They're folks, for example, who just left their jobs to become comedians or musicians or whatever it was, right? Or they just left college and started doing this. They are suffering because they don't have the luxury of sustaining for a few months. They've just come into this field. So, in any which way, if you can help them, like I'm planning, I do these online shows, I'm planning to get an opening act for myself once I figure this thing out. So there'll obviously be younger comics who will open and they'll get paid at least to do that, right? And then share these experiences. A lot of us comedians are sharing these experiences. Like I was having a chat with Amit Tandon, who has also started doing this of late, and we were just discussing exactly how to perform in front of a laptop, right? What do you need to take care of? How do you take care of the lag and people laughing, and when do you pause and stuff like that, right? These are uh, very specific things to the art form that you are in, but share those experiences with each other. This is not the time of figuring out one code for yourself and saying, yeah, I have figured it out, let me make money.
Right.
The more you share, the more ideas you will get. And this is the world we are living in. Enjoy it. And one of the big things, Jane, that I've figured out is that I would earlier go to a city to perform, right? I would do
Right.
a show in Mumbai or Bangalore or Gurgaon. Now, when I announce a show online, I'm catering to the entire world for that matter, right? I've had people join me from Ireland, from US, from UK for my shows, which I'm doing from my house. So
That is so cool.
the number of people that you can touch online is huge, right? Just make sure the experience is professional enough for them to pay money. Don't shortchange them on that.
All right, so that's something that's really important, which is exactly what Ricky also told me. He said that if you have your setup, like in your case, the lighting, your left profile, your mic, and everything has been sorted out so well, so that if somebody wants to watch you, they feel like, yeah, okay, now this is the time for me to laugh. And even if the if the whatever is your interaction costs a particular amount, which is not what you would normally charge in a
Yeah.
at an actual physical venue, it's still something, right? It's still something to go by, and that's
Yeah,
a
it's
good
the
way to
volume. I
rally
think,
support.
yeah, it's the volume. Especially when it comes to commercial part of it, right? It's the volume you can generate. Right? What does it take for me to do 3 shows a day? It really doesn't take much. I can do a morning, afternoon, evening show. I'm just sitting at home, right? I have to come in front of the camera for an hour and do the show, and then go back and watch TV or listen to radio. So
You listen to
people,
the radio? That is
yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
a smart
That's
one,
really
right?
nice. Extremely, extremely nice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to see that 94.3 Radio 1 Fever and Nasha all exist in Delhi and Gurgaon, where you are.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, the new generation relating to something as old school as what used to exist back in 1972. I think
Hmm.
radio was very much alive
Radio
at
was
that
there,
point in
of
time.
course it was there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So, you think contemporarizing things that used to be is just the norm? I mean, how relevant do you think concepts from the past, like books, have become? You can now read them in Kindles and stuff like that. Do
Yeah.
you think in every industry, things that were still that we're all very nostalgic about
Yeah.
are going to come make a big comeback because of this digital revolution?
I think it would, primarily because the medium has expanded now with digital coming into play. So people have opportunities to talk about it, to display their art forms or whatever, right? It would. Also, there's, you, if you truly love art and you're an artist, you would know, right? You tend to explore more. You're never satisfied with whatever is happening right now, right? And when you explore more different art forms, you tend to go back in time. You would look at music from 60s and 70s and listen to that, right? And you would enjoy it. Same goes for movies, etc., because there are learnings out there. There was simplicity back then in terms of content creation, and that simplicity kind of has gotten lost now. And these are the times of being real, right? If I can bring simplicity into my comedy, it is very appealing for people right now because they don't see that around so much. So yeah, so I guess going back in time, looking at that content is all about understanding art and simplicity at that time, and hopefully picking the best out of it from there.
Kenny Sebastian, Kanan Gill, so many of these people now have Amazon and Netflix and all these comic shows that are out there. Is
Yeah.
that something that's in the cards, considering you are
Yes.
exploring the digital world?
Yes, it is. It is. I'd been touring before the lockdown. I had been touring with this show called Just a Bad Guy. It is very different from what you've seen on YouTube, which is all mom, dad, wife, son. It's a very different
Right,
show.
right.
And we are in talks with OTT platforms. It's just that lockdown gets over, we'll probably get into recording and put it up somewhere, one of these
That
platforms
is
for sure.
fantastic. How is Just a Bad Guy inspired? I mean, I don't know if you know the song Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. Do you like it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I used
Oh,
to play it.
guy.
My son gets very upset when I play it. He says, "Do you realize she's 16 and you're playing this song?"
That's all right. You can say that, I mean, she scored the new song for No Time to Die, which God knows
Yeah,
when it'll release right now. But if
yeah.
you look at Daniel Craig and Billie Eilish, it's all
Yeah,
right.
see,
It's
there
all
you go.
good.
There you go.
And
No,
it's
so just a bad guy was I think me realizing that I can now talk about stuff on stage, which I truly feel, without worrying about social filters. Or I had this whole corporate baggage with me of being politically correct and being nice to
right,
everyone. And
right.
imagine it has taken me three and a half years now in stand-up comedy to get over that and say, hey, there's certain things I want to talk about. And it might not be a popular opinion. It might be kind of controversial, but I still want to air my views and see that. So that's
What's
how
some of
just
these things that you are talking about? I'm totally curious now. I'm hooked on.
Yeah, so just a bad guy has has sets on classism, on how I feel the rich are discriminated against. Which is,
First world problems. Right.
I know. It's nothing to do with the poor or whatever, right? It's just that people have a very negative opinion about rich people. It's like if you're rich, you're bad. It's not that, right? A lot of people have worked hard to make the money they have. So there's a bit on that. There is a
Years
bit
of
on
Is there a background to this? You made so much money, you
No,
don't need to
no, no,
say
no.
anything.
I can make that much money. No, no, it's not that. It's
Right.
just one of those thoughts I had. Then I have bits on feminism, And that gets that. Yeah, I know.
That's the
That
expression.
is that is by far my most favorite bit, because the moment I start talking about feminism, there is a very awkward silence in the room. Okay, everybody is like, no, 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 don't go there, don't go there.
Very difficult.
And
Don't do this.
yeah, and
Right.
it's a 13-minute bit. Okay, 13 minute. I'm
Can
kind of
we try, because we've come towards the end of the session, can we try a 1 minute bit on this? I'm a feminist, and
oh
but
my
I'm
god.
also an equalist. So let's see if I'm offended or if I can take it. That's how
Oh,
we're going to end this session. Yeah. Let's see if I can take it. I think I can. I think you will have a equal. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
yeah. No, the difficult part of doing this is because it's a 30-minute set, right? If I pick a point out of this, you probably won't know the context. But let me still do this. There's a point. I'll have to explain to you a little bit. So I start off with this whole thing saying that feminism was great, but it has become confusing now.
Right.
Okay, it has become confusing because women earlier were very clear. Women were like, women are equal to men and tuck, perfect, right? And then Me Too happened, and then women were like, men are assholes and women are equal to men. And then they got confused. They said, no, 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 we can't say this, all right? We can't say this. So I'm building this up where women in the audience get very angry when I say this, and then I talk about how men can't understand why you women want to be equal. Like, it's biologically proven that women live longer than men. Women have higher pain tolerance than men. Women have higher social and emotional intelligence than men. Let's not forget multiple orgasms, right? What do we men have? We have nothing, right? We are just stronger and get leadership positions. And
Right.
nobody likes that statement. And then I go say, ask any man in this room. He will give up a leadership position for multiple orgasms. So, yeah.
Actually, I don't even have anything to say to this because I don't know if this will be carried on the live because of that.
That what I realized it when I started off. I was like, ah, damn.
Let's just say we have multiple talents, yeah,
Multiple
and
talents. Yeah.
and it's something that definitely helps us. I mean,
No,
I would
but
I
let me
would
give
be
you
happy
something
if
for the edit.
there's
But
something
let me
like
give you
yeah,
something for the edit. There's a point that I
right,
was in the set where I talk about how some of the women, like not all of them, are so angry these days. Okay, they're
right.
angry, like they're not even making sense. They're so angry. Like, there's a friend of mine. She gave birth to a kid recently. Okay, so I called her up. I was like, hey, congratulations. She was like, hey, thank you so much. I was like, boy or a girl? She was like, why do you want to know? How does it make a difference,
Oh,
boy or a girl? How does it make a difference?
okay.
And I was like, what?
I just want to know who it is. Yeah.
And I thought that question was not allowed before birth. Like, when did when did it become a problem after birth? And she was like, no, no, no. How does it make a difference? Why do you want to know? So I was like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Apparently, she gave birth to a boy who will now wear a pink skirt given by Anshu uncle.
Because you just didn't know. You
I
just
had no
assumed
idea. I just,
it.
did a delivery from Amazon. I was like, "Pen, माँ से पूछियो क्यों पहन रहा तू अब?"
Boys with pink tutu skirts is totally all right, man. It's
Yeah, I
allowed. I
guess.
mean,
I think
it's
everything is
totally
allowed these days.
yeah. I mean, I think the whole fluidity in gender. I mean, women wearing pants in a relationship and outside of it, men wearing skirts. On the ramp and outside.
Which
It's
is
all
the
right.
awesome part, right? Which is the awesome part, that now it is about individual expression and nothing to do with gender, right? It doesn't matter anymore, and I
Yeah.
hope that continues. I hope that continues.
I think there's
Lots.
definitely a start. I mean, I'm sure even when you're working and now you're going and seeing so many people in the audience, even in the technology spectrum, since you are from Microsoft, I think there's a lot of gender diversity at the workplace. There's a lot of gender diversity when it comes to you going and doing your shows as well, right? I think
Yeah,
it's cool
in fact,
to
one of the things I've recognized is that even guys like me, okay, born and brought up in Delhi, my mom has been working throughout her life, so we were raised in an environment where boy girl thing wasn't a thing at all, right? It was everybody was equal, but even then, I realized that there was some inherent unconscious biases that I had. I didn't even know it till the conversation started a few years ago, where women would point out saying, you just said this and this is what it means. And I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. She said, but that's when we started realizing that it's not always the obvious thing that I'm trying to put a woman down, etc. It's just an unconscious thing, bias happening in my head, and I say it out in or act it out in a manner. And those are things which are beautiful. That's what I love about whatever has happened in terms of the movement is that conversation has started. That's why I get very angry when it's just about anger. When it's about lashing out, uh,
Right.
then it doesn't make sense to me. But talk, because we need that conversation to happen to understand as men, I guess.
Absolutely. And it's always hashtag not all men. I've had fabulous guests on my show all these years, both men and women. And I think we're definitely, progressing towards an equal gender society across the world. And this is where it starts with people like you talking about it. Whether it's about multitasking that women have or otherwise, I think I
I
think you
know.
have a point there. All
Yeah.
right, Anshu, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. It almost feels like better than watching you live, man, because I get like
Don't
a
say that.
solo. I get I get a solo. No, I mean you never know how the world is gonna go. Maybe somebody is gonna pay you your years worth of shows
On
saying,
a one to
Anshu,
one, one to
come
one.
just yes, exactly. You never know, it might just happen. Have you watched the movie Magic Mike?
No, I haven't. Is
So
there a
what
concept like that in that one?
it's not comedy, it's something else. I can't say
Yeah.
this on this medium, but what I would say is if you
Go on.
combine Magic Mike with comedy,
Yeah.
Anshu, maybe a lot of you comics could make a lot more money during a personal show like this. So that's
Don't
all
give
I
these ideas. My wife is still watching. Okay, she can still hear me out.
lots of love to your family.
Hey,
Please
thank
stay
you so
safe,
much, Jen.
and we do hope this lockdown comes in, comes down, is lifted very soon, and we're all out there. Your final shout out to anyone who's watching this anywhere in India, anywhere in the world. It's one of the biggest digital fests that's across so many social media platforms with a reach of 2.4 million or so, a really high number of people. So, what's your final shout out to everybody, and also your final shout out to contribute to the PM Cares Fund?
Yeah, so my final shout out is actually to you, Jane, and your team for doing this in the first place. I think a lot of people are realizing that entertainment in whatever format they're getting right now is so, so crucial when they're locked down inside. And I think you guys are bringing purpose to that entertainment, which is fantastic. So, to your entire team, big, big shout out. And once again, to everyone, whether it's small, whether it's big, in whatever shape and format, if you can contribute to the PM Cares Fund, please do that. I have done it, and it'll just help somebody right in desperate need. So please do that. And thank you for having me over, Jane. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If you were to end this with one line, this is a line that you used to patao anyone who's watching right now. What
Patao
would
and
the
all.
line patao? Yeah, see, I'm South Indian, but I can use a Hindi word. I can understand your comedy. May not be able to speak it right, brother, but I can still get it. Yeah. What would be the one last line? Let's leave a line for people to think about.
Oh man, this is difficult here. You know I'm 47, right? I've stopped using lines and all now. I use indirect methods now.
What are the methods? You don't
I just get up on stage. I just get up on stage and have a spotlight on me, and then hope in hell somebody gets impressed.
So there's no line. You're not going to give me a line, Anshu.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, I'm not kidding. My son's
You know,
gonna listen to this. He's 19. He has a girlfriend, and I don't think both of them would appreciate like, dad giving up lines. Pick up.
any line on to pick up his audience. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
thanks so
think
much.
the biggest line right now is stay safe. Yeah, everyone, stay safe. Especially if you're beautiful, stay safe.
Stay safe, stay home, and stay strong. Thanks so much, Anshu. You
Thank
have
you
a
so much, Jen.
fabulous remainder of the lockdown. Hope to see
True.
more of your shows, and I would pay money for your show the next time. Okay,
Oh,
that I'll.
please. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much. Lovely
you.
chatting with
Take
you.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.